McCormick versus Manny. At the 1855 World's Fair in Paris, two early combine manufacturers from Illinois faced off. McCormick from Chicago was the industry leader at the time and one of the biggest employers in the Windy City. The McCormicks became a powerful family in Chicago. They would later go on to control the Chicago Tribune. In the 20th century, the family would open the largest convention center in North America, McCormick Place. John Manny from Rockford was the newcomer who invented his own combine. At the World's Fair, Manny outperformed McCormick. McCormick sued Manny. Both sides had high-profile lawyers. Representing John Manny, there was George Harding of Pennsylvania, perhaps America's greatest patent attorney of the 19th century. You had Peter Watson from Washington, D.C., and you also had Edwin Stanton, who would later become the United States Secretary of War during the Civil War. With the trial starting in Illinois, the Dream Team wanted to hire a local lawyer who would have a better handle on the sensibilities of Illinois judges. And so they hired a man who had just lost a bid for the Senate, Abraham Lincoln. But the team greatly diminished Lincoln. With Lincoln's tall and gangly appearance, Stanton called him an ape. He seemed like he was from the backwoods. They told him wrong trial times. They did whatever they could to exclude him from the team. Eventually, the trial was moved from Illinois to Springfield, Ohio. And they wouldn't even allow the future president to sit at their table during the trial. He had to watch as a spectator. Legal briefs that Lincoln prepared were never even opened by the team. I think about that story, and it's striking to me how they mistreated and diminished a man who would go on to become the greatest American of his era. The lawyers he was working with, they had reputations, academic prestige, legal pedigrees. I think of that story, and I think of our passage today, and I think of the Pharisees and their interactions with Jesus. The Pharisees were respected, well-studied, experts in the law, and they reviled Jesus. But what becomes clear in this passage is that they simply don't understand Jesus for who he really is. The respected and honored men of their time did not realize that the greatest man in history was in their midst.